Jezero.
Hello, Ash. I have an important message for you. They're starting an official Puzzle League tournament, and you are selected as one of the challengers.
I'll go sign up.
I'm so proud of you, Ash. Being selected for this event is such an honor. Well, there's no time to explain everything. You must hurry.
Well, let's go.
Wait! Don't forget to come and see me in my office in Puzzle League Village!
Yeah.
Did you hear me, Ash?
Eager to prove themselves in this new type of Pokemon battle, Ash and Pikachu race to Pokemon Puzzle League Village.
There it is, Pikachu. Are you ready for another new challenge? Pikachu!
Good evening, my friends. This is Paul, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing to you Pokemon Puzzle League for the Nintendo 64. My first introduction to the Puzzle League series was on the DS, when I saw a kiosk for Planet Puzzle League at GameStop, and I thought it was a really intriguing process to play an entire game with the DS held sideways. And I never ended up getting the game, but I remember liking it quite a lot and thinking, man, I had such a great time for something so simple. And so when I heard that Pokemon Puzzle League was coming to the Switch Online service, I was actually way more excited than even some diehard Pokemon fans, because I knew that going into it, it wouldn't be much of a Pokemon experience. It would be more of a Puzzle League game with Pokemon characters in the background. And that's exactly how I wanted it, and that's more or less exactly what happened. So one thing that I usually praise about the Pokemon spin-offs is that they usually have much better production values than the main Pokemon games. Look at new Pokemon Snap and compare those graphics to Pokemon Sword and Shield, both on the Switch, and you'll see what I mean. In this game's case, it started out really promising with an opening anime cutscene that had voice acting. I'm not normally an anime fan, but by Nintendo 64 standards, that was pretty cutting edge when everything else looked really blocky and ugly. From there on, though, everything else was just stills and hand-drawn animation, which is also a rarity for a Nintendo 64 game, but it also feels kind of lifeless. Like, it doesn't make for the best footage when you're editing this together. But apart from that, the gameplay is honestly a lot of fun. There's quite a lot of different modes that you can choose from, and the game does a really good job of explaining the basics of Puzzle League for you. Just in case this footage makes absolutely no sense to you, the goal is that you have these two white borders, and the white borders swap whatever squares are in the other. So if, say, you have a green block on the left and a blue block on the right, those would swap positions. And you have to get it so that three or more of the same color, either horizontally or vertically, match up, and then they will disappear, causing all the blocks above them to fall down. Now you can make the playing field scroll up a little bit if you want to, say, maybe create a combo that you couldn't see before, or if you run out of blocks to use, but you don't want the stack to go up too high or else you'll get a game over. Now, you can play in single player, but you can also have computer opponents, and when that happens, if you trigger too many chain reactions or combos, then you'll knock these giant rectangular blocks onto your opponent's playing field, and that'll speed up the process in which they lose. Now, as far as ways in which this game is spiced up or Pokemonified, prepare to be a little bit disappointed if you're a big fan of the franchise, as there's two story modes, and they loosely follow the plot of the original games. One of them just has you taking on various gym leaders and selecting a Pokemon to fight theirs. I never personally figured out what the difference is. Like, I pretty much just picked Pikachu every single time, and I didn't notice anything different. And then you get the badge and you move on. It's honestly even less fun than the main Pokemon games in terms of the story, but at least the core gameplay is addicting enough where you have to do an endurance round where the first person to get too many blocks loses. An alternate story mode is called the Spa Service, which actually is totally a lie. It's actually just you fighting Team Rocket in varying disguises. But this time, instead of an endurance round, you're playing by yourself and you're trying to clear all of the blocks above the white line. So that's how you advance to the next stage. There's 3 different difficulties: easy, normal, and hard. and it seems like it mostly just rearranges the positions of the blocks. You can also change the speed of how fast the blocks auto-scroll, and if you do combos or 4 or more of a kind, then sometimes Jigglypuff will appear to sing a stop song. I don't have much history with the franchise. I have no idea what that's trying to do. But I did think it was nice that they incorporated a little bit of Pokemon into it. You can also change the style of the blocks from standard Puzzle League to Pokemon symbols. I chose the standard version because you can clearly tell where my priorities are. And overall, I found that Pokemon Puzzle League is a fun time, but it doesn't do much more than that. At the end of the day, you would only really be getting it if you're a fan of Puzzle League. And there are plenty of different ways to get that game, although I don't really know of any other on the Switch in particular, nor do I think there's a Puzzle League 64 on the Nintendo 64, so you are getting exclusive gameplay of this franchise on that system. It's just that I would say prefer to get it on the Game Boy Advance or the DS. That being said, one thing that's really disappointing about this release is the music. It is so ridiculously generic and soulless, and it just feels like it's that kind of thing that you would get in a budget Nintendo Switch eShop game. A lot of it ended up being ultimately forgettable, and the only ones that I'm still humming right now are the ones that kept spamming over and over again. Another weird little oddity is that you can switch if you want the background music or the sound effects muted, or all of it, and you can choose the volume at which each sound effect or background music plays, but some modes just decide that they want to follow their own rules of audio. In one mode, I would hear the shouts of the other team encouraging me when I did good, even though they were technically Team Rocket. They were supposed to be telling me I did a bad job, even though I had muted the sound effects. Then there was another mode where the music kept changing on me, which I thought, oh great, I certainly don't want to put this into my footage. Now, one thing that works really well in this game's favor are the controls, as I found that whether I was playing with the Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller, the cursor moved very smoothly, almost too much so in some instances. On the Joy-Cons, I preferred using the directional buttons for more precision, while when I was playing on the TV to capture this footage, the control stick seemed to work better for me. Now, I've never played this on the original Nintendo 64, so I can't comment on the original hardware, but I do think that it was designed first and foremost for the control pad, kind of like Kirby 64 was. But considering that you can also use the control stick in this Switch expansion pack version, I think it's safe to say that you have options, unlike Kirby 64, so that in of itself is decent. Overall, Pokemon Puzzle League is good, but not great. It's great if you're a huge fan of Puzzle League, but doesn't do much in terms of Pokemon content. The music is lackluster, the graphics are basic hand-drawn stills that just stay there, and it's going to be over relatively quickly, apart from progressively more difficult AI and a couple of puzzles that you get to solve. I think it's worth it if you have Switch Online that you just get it as a bonus for having it, but I wouldn't get it just for this game. If you have a Nintendo 64, then I think this could be a pretty good game if you get it at a budget price. Perhaps not at full price or like $60 or whatever they're charging for N64 games these days, but it's serviceable. It's certainly not a bad game. It's just gonna have very limited appeal. Oh, I almost forgot to talk about the 3D mode. There's a mode where the pieces are displayed in more of a cylinder as opposed to just a straight rectangle. And in this mode, you have more blocks to keep track of. Honestly, I felt like they just added that in because they said, you know what, we're not really having any 3D graphics of any kind. So let us show that this is a Nintendo 64 game and it's capable of using 3D. I didn't like it very much. I moved on really quickly, and I think you will too. So with that, I hope that you were able to get a good amount of information for a game that really doesn't need much explanation. And I hope you'll let me know down in the comments if you're a big Puzzle League fan, or if you're like, it's Pokemon, I'm gonna buy it no matter what it is. Even, oh, I don't want to imagine what Pokemon fans will buy just because it's Pokemon. So with that being said, thank you very much for watching. Let me know down in the comments if you have any questions or concerns. And until the next time, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye!